What is going on, everybody? It is Frank the Tank, and welcome to week number 2 of this winter league. If you'll notice, my voice sounds a little bit messed up. I kind of lost it a little bit, not completely, but I think you could tell my voice sounds kind of a little lower. Uh, I'm here now, and I feel like I'm in a position where it's now or never. So the show must go on, even though I feel this way. I don't feel sick or anything. Like I'm not like coughing like crazy, or anything like that. And I even, just to be on the safe side, I even took one of those COVID tests and it came out negative. So, yeah, kind of weird how I just, the only thing that I suffered was a lost voice, or partially lost. But, yeah, that's the only thing. So, yeah, pardon the really low voice. It sounds like I hit puberty or something. But anyway, getting back to this. After week 1 of league, I walked into it knowing about the changes that they made to the house pattern, but not knowing how I was going to do. And I also wondered how everybody else was going to do. But I obviously couldn't get my answer until week 2 of league, until they came up with the paper. So now I officially have my answer, and I can honestly say it is indeed a challenge. I thought maybe it was just me, getting into my own head thinking, oh man, this new house pattern is super difficult. But no, I'm not the only one. I'm not sure if you guys can actually see here. Take a look. Look right over here, right? So if you can see there, I actually was the only one. Actually, hold on. Sorry, let me adjust here. There we go. If the camera can just focus up here. There we go. So if you could see there, I walked away with the highest scratch game, that 256 that I got with the Zen Master. My main man, Gary Gardner, he's back in the league. He got the second highest with the 247, and then some guy named Paul Cabri got a 244. So, and then look at the scratch series. That's what really caught my attention. If you look, Paul Cabri walked away with the highest scratch series on week 1 with the 654, and then the two guys that trailed him, look at that, only a 599 and a 598. So in the last league, you would usually see like 600 series and maybe one 700, but not with this one. So it it was an all-out struggle. I wasn't the only one, so I thought maybe I was crazy. I thought I was maybe just being a whiny little you-know-what, making excuses that the house pattern was difficult. But no, this shows I'm not the only one who's really, struggling with this new house pattern. Everybody is. But, yeah, that's really all there is to say on it. And now, because I know the changes, I now know what I have to do. And also, I want to talk about a couple of comments, crucial ones, I want to say, that you guys left me. Tyler Hernandez, he said, personally, when I'm struggling and can't get anything to go, I just say, screw this and pipe everything up 10 board, which is the second arrow. And he says that it has saved him a couple times. I absolutely agree with that. That's actually pretty good. And that's actually what a lot of the bowlers do anyway. A lot of the ones who don't have that really high rev rate, a lot of the older people definitely who have like the decent speed and the low rev rate, they just pipe it up that second arrow too, or sometimes in between the second and third arrow as well. And I've noticed that it's benefited them either way. So, and also proof of that would be what I did with the Zen Master 256, and I was kind of playing those straighter angles too. So yeah, that's a crucial one. I might have to start doing that, especially after what I'm going to show you with week 2. Another comment, Anthony Martinez. He says, the house pattern at my home alley is just like that. Just like the one that I'm currently bowling on. You either slow down your ball speed and get it out there 45 feet down lane so it can slow hook back, or hard up the second arrow. There is no in between. I know exactly what you mean by that. I like, even when I get mine in the middle, on target, in the middle of my target, it's like accuracy doesn't work anymore. And I don't know. It's so weird. You either have to slow hook it or pipe it up the second arrow. That's basically what it is. Vanity S7 says, my alley modified their shot as well. They felt scoring was getting out of hand last season. I do believe, you know what, I'm with you on that, and I truly believe, they haven't told me the reasons, but I truly believe that was one of the primary reasons why they made the decision to change up this house shot. Because it was easy, and this one, in comparison, is a lot more difficult. And let's see what else. Peter the Bowler with the most crucial comment here. This one is the one that really, really caught my attention the most out of every single one. Peter the Bowler says, oil in the heads, because that is something that I pointed out about the new house shot, how there was more oil like in the heads. I pointed that out, and he said that oil in the heads is probably a higher volume of oil in the front of the lane. And you are absolutely correct on this, because I went to practice Monday and Wednesday in the this past week before this Friday, and I noticed that there's definitely a lot more oil in the middle part of the lane, like in the front part too, because I would get my ball to push out and like, well, yeah, no, I would get my ball out there like I would normally do, and it would push out there a lot more than usual, and I don't intend to do that, and then it wouldn't come back. So, yeah, I know it's like a slip and slide in the front part of the lane for the bowling ball now. So now you have to be very careful with how much you push the ball out there. A little bit too much out there, and it'll go too far to the right and not come back. And yeah, you have to be very, very careful, and I feel like now I have to be careful with the kind of bowling balls that I bring too. So, one of the bowling balls that I did bring are the Phase 2, because I'm sure you guys saw that 279 that I shot with it. Of course, I had to bring it with me to league after that. But yeah, now I feel I have to be careful with my ball choices, and very careful with my launch angle, or whatever they call it. So yeah, Peter the Bowler, thank you for pointing that out, because had you not pointed that out to me, I probably never would have noticed that it was a slip and slide in the front part of the lane, that first, what, 15 feet or so. So thank you for pointing that out to me. But now that I guess we're pretty much up to speed, I guess we can now get to the video. Okay, you guys, so here we go. Week number 2, Winter League on lanes 3 and 4. So, I did bring with me the Phase 2, as you guys saw, but I didn't pick it up because in the 10 minutes of practice, it was a disaster. I couldn't get anything to work. I couldn't find my shot. I couldn't execute with it, so I opted for the Hustle PBR because it was the one that was working the best for me. And also mentally, for some reason, I felt like I could execute the easiest with this. So, there you go. On the left lane, perfect. Good form at the foul line, and yeah, I mean the Hustle PBR, I also took it with me to practice on I can't remember when. I think it was either Wednesday or Monday, I can't remember, and it was doing pretty good. I liked that even if I got it a little too far right on my target, it would recover. So I feel like I need a ball like that now. So like I said, I have to be careful with my ball choices now, and I'm definitely looking for bowling balls that do that. If I get them too far right, they recover. If I get them to the left, they have hold, like usual, and this ball does that for me, so that's why I opted for the Hustle PBR. Okay, guys, so another thing that I want to point out that from last week was how I said I was going to try to actually like write or document everything that I was thinking and all that stuff, so that I could better explain to you guys in a little bit more detail what I was thinking and what was going on while I was out there, because I can't remember everything hours later. So I wrote it all down. I created it like a special page in my notes, and yeah, I tried writing down everything immediately after I threw my shot, just to tell you guys what I was thinking and everything. So for frame 1, obviously I started with the Hustle PBR on board 21 on the left and right lane. So here we go on the right lane. Fell off on it. And right there, I instantly thought left of target, and I knew it off my hand. So, and then it's obvious I went through the nose, and I ended up with a split. Unfortunately, I couldn't make that split. Pretty good. A little high, but luckily there was some hold there. You see what I'm talking about? I need a ball that has some hold to it, and if I get it too far to the right, it'll at least recover and not stay there on the edge of the lane, going towards the 3-6. and I fought off a split. And I will say this, from where I was standing, you guys can't see it from this angle, but from where I was standing, I could see that it was just a pinch left of my target. And that's why that 4 ended up staying there. I tell you, the margin for error on these lanes now with this pattern, it's a lot smaller now. And I will say this as well, I have not practiced spare shooting the past week, and it came back to haunt me. Take a look at this. That's what happens if you don't practice your spares from time to time. Pretty good. Really nice. And I tell you, I got this left lane on lockdown. But this right lane, I can tell you right now, what it was, the problem with me was that for some reason, being on this right lane, it would just throw me off. I wasn't able to focus clearly like I was on this left lane. It was just a mental battle with me. And because I was struggling mentally on this right lane for reasons I cannot explain, it was playing a part in why I just couldn't execute on this right lane. So I made the decision to change to the Axiom Pearl. Stood on 22.5. Opened up the lane to myself a little bit. And there you go. Way right of target, and I knew it immediately off my hand too. Alright, check this out. This was something I was not expecting. Chopped on it. You know, the reason I say I wasn't expecting that was because the hustle is very lengthy. So I wasn't expecting for it to pick up like it did, but then again, I forgot that this is the Hustle PBR. It's got some surface on it, so it's going to pick up a little sooner compared to the other Hustles. Now the shot looked good from what you guys just saw, but from where from my point of view, it looked like it was left, and it looked like I got it left, but it held, if you know what I mean. There we go. Right on target. Okay, so at this point, I have to strike out to hit 200 right on the dot. But I wasn't feeling too nervous about it because I thought to myself, well, I have the Axiom Pearl in my hand and it's a good ball on this lane. Too far to the right, but it recovered. You see, that's what I'm looking for. A bowling ball that helps me out. And I was thinking to myself, oh, nope, that one's gone. Because I've noticed that they put oil on the sides so the ball wouldn't recover. But somehow that one did. But here we go for shot number 2 in the 10th. Well, that was a little more left on my previous shot, but I had some room to miss there. Alright, here we go. Last shot in the 10th. Looks good. Does that look familiar? If you saw my Phase 2 video where I shot 279, well, hello darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Okay, so we end game 1 with a 199. Not bad, but well, actually, considering how difficult this pattern is, I'd say that's actually pretty good. But anyway, game number 2, and we're continuing with the same strategy. The Axiom Pearl on the right lane, the Hustle PBR on the left lane. And I'm still lining up on the same board, so no adjustments either. Yeah. By the time it got like, what, 25, 30 feet down the lane is when I noticed that it was a bad shot. It seemed good the first 15 feet, but by the time it got halfway there, I turned around on it and realized, oh, that's gone. That's a bad shot. Left of target. Easy stuff, no problem. How about that curve right there? So right after that shot, I didn't really know what to think. I mean, I thought maybe, okay, the lane is drying up a little bit, or maybe I got it to the right a little too early. I didn't know. But seeing that made me want to make some kind of a change. Well, at least I didn't miss all my spares. At least I made a couple here and there. Yeah, so on that one, immediately I thought to myself, it looked good. But then that happened. And then I thought, is this lane getting a little bit dry too? Back-to-back 3.610s, back-to-back pickups, no problem. Okay, guys, so get this. While I'm sitting on the bench, right, somehow I randomly thought about a comment that was left on week 1. And that comment was left by Terry Pitts. He said, don't be afraid to hook the whole lane. It's in your skill set. I don't know why. I thought about that comment just came to my head. And I thought to myself, you know what? Seeing what just happened on the left and right lane with the Hustle PBR and the Axiom Pro, how they both just hooked like crazy and both went through the nose, left me the 3.610. I thought, may as well just give it a shot. I mean, I was tempted to try it after thinking about that. So I picked up the Axiom Pearl, went to 37, board 37, so that's a huge adjustment, and did this. Slow hook the entire lane, baby. That's what I'm talking about. So after that, I thought to myself, maybe this is what we're going to have to do the entire night, because I feel like I'm going to struggle just trying to play the way I usually play. Yeah, so I honestly was just tempted to try it, just to mess around, and it ended up being like, oh wow, that worked out nicely. So I did it again. And that for me was like, okay, screw it, everything. This is what I'm going to do for the entire night from this point on. Yeah, my teammates and my opponents were quite fascinated by this versatility. They thought this was pretty cool to watch. Now, that one was very obvious to me. I saw exactly what I did wrong there. I threw it way too quick, and I did not give the ball enough time to get back. Couldn't pick it up, so I just moved on. Okay, so here we go with the next one. Unfortunately, you can't see it because this guy makes the camera go out of focus, but yeah, with that shot, I threw it just a pinch too quick, but not nearly as quick as I did on the left lane. But as a result, it gave me a light pocket hit, and I ended up leaving the 10. And unfortunately here, my lack of spare practice came to haunt me again. Look at that. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Unacceptable. Alright, so for that one, it was just like the right, what I did on the right lane. A pinch too quick, but not nearly as... I decreased the speed a little bit compared to the last shot on the left lane, but I got it a little bit too right of the target as well, and as a result, 10 pin. Yeah, as a result, I ended up missing that one as well, but you can't see it because, again, this guy takes forever to pick up his bowling ball. But, yeah, my lack of spare practice right there really showed. 3 open frames in a row. I can't remember the last time I've done something like that. Alright, well, that one struck, but I thought to myself, it was a tad bit too slow, and it went high. So I told myself, okay, I kind of got to be careful there. Not too slow and not too fast. That's one of the difficult things about slow hooking the entire lane like this, is that you got to be careful with your ball speed. Alright, So I want you guys to take a look at this. Take a look on lane number 2 right here. So my man Gary Gardner was on this pair next to us, and he was struggling too, which is quite shocking to me because he is a great bowler. He is a 222 average on these in this league, and with this new house pattern, even he was struggling on it, and he opted to change up his strategy. Look at what he decided to do because nothing was working. Look at straight up the second arrow, like some of you pointed out in the comments section. Let's take a look at that again. Look at that. See that? Straighten the hand a little bit, piped it up the second arrow. Because nothing was working for him. I was watching his game. He was getting a lot of light hits. The ball would, hook too much and go through the nose. And I would see his reaction like, what is this? So if even he is struggling, then you know that these conditions are a lot more difficult than they used to be. That was a high hit. That one was a tad bit too slow. See what I mean? What you do with your ball speed when you're slow hooking like this, it's critical. If any of you out there think that this is easy, it's really not. You got to watch it with your ball speed. Okay, so I didn't trust myself with the spare ball, so I chose to just hook at it. After all those misses that I had to play it safe. That one looked like another high hit, but luckily the 10 got out, the 4 got out, so we're all good. And unfortunately, we could only get 168 in that one. Really, really poor compared to the first game. Okay, so here we go with the last game of the night. I felt like I had a much more solid understanding of this hooking the entire lane thing that I was doing. So I felt like I could score a lot better in this final game. But after what I was seeing in the 10th frame, I realized I needed to make an adjustment, so I moved to 37.5 and saw, because I noticed that it was getting a little bit dry down lane, so I chose to move a half a board just to see what that would do. And it worked out really nicely. Left, and I knew it. And I went Brooklyn, and they all fell, but still, I wasn't happy about it. I mean, I was cool with it that it struck, but the fact that I got it left, that's what I was really angry about. Left again. No luck that time. Pick up what you leave and move on. Alright, so I forgot to mention on this right lane, I stayed on the same board, 37. I didn't adjust to 37.5 like I did on the left lane. Oh my goodness. Looked like it was going in the gutter, wasn't it? Ooh, that ball entered the pocket with so much angle that that 9 almost stayed there. Left again. I was really pissed about that. Like I really hate it when I get it left. All right, so that one right there, it did seem a little bit slower on the ball speed, but I did notice that the ball hooked a little more, so the lane did get just a little bit drier. Yeah, when it got halfway down the lane, I knew it was left, and somehow I got another Brooklyn strike. Okay, so for this one, I didn't want to take the chance with just a half board move, so I made a full board move. Went from 37.5 to 38.5. And I told myself to be careful not to throw it too fast. Got back just enough, got a light hit, and I realized that was kind of a bit too quick. I needed to be a little bit slower. So my main man, Gary, he was having a very rough night with this pattern. I mean, I thought maybe I was just making excuses that that I hate this pattern, that I'm not good at it, and that, I thought I was just being a whiny little, what. But when I saw that my man Gary was struggling, I thought, wow, this pattern really, really is hard. Take a look at this right over here and try to listen. So yeah, that basically summed up his whole night in a nutshell right there. He threw that shot, it split, and he was like, I give up. I effing give up. He had it. He'd had enough. And would you believe that he only managed a 525 series? Oh my goodness. That's how you know this stuff is tough, man. Okay, here we go. On the 10th. Finally, it's over. That one I want to say was a little bit slow. And, well, the lane did dry up a bit, but how was I going to know? And then this happened. You kidding me? Come on. So, at least I managed to at least achieve a 200 game, but wow, unbelievable. Okay, you guys, so here is the week 2 summary. So, I would technically say that this is probably a lot better than the performance from last week because I played 2 bad games and I managed to save it with 1 high game. Here, I managed to put up 3 much more decent scores, except the only difference obviously being that there isn't a very high game here. But yeah, game 1 with a 199, game 2 with a 168, game 3 with the 204, all for a total of 571, which sucks because that's down from last week's series total, 580. The series required to raise my average +1 was 584. I fell short of that, and as a result, my average went down, and my pin total after week 2 is 1,151 after 6 games played. And as you can see there, my average went down 2 points, and my highest game remains 256 with that 580 series from week 1. So I really want to point out a very important comment that was left on week 1 made by Trent Irwin. It was actually a response made to Terry Pitts about me hooking the whole lane. He said, I think the takeaway from this video is he should have been playing straighter from the start. Trent, you are absolutely very correct on that. I should have been doing that. And that's actually a lesson that I learned after this night of League, because I should have noticed this on week 1, but I didn't. And I should have noticed it when I got 256 with the Zen Master, playing straight like I was. I noticed that a lot of the bowlers who score high with the no, let me redo that. Sorry, no. A lot of the bowlers there who had success getting to the pocket, they were the lower rev players who have to pipe it down the second arrow or in between the second and third arrow. And I noticed that they had a lot more success getting to the pocket. And I realized, wait a minute, they're playing straighter. And they have to because they have the lower rev rate. They don't have the rev rate to get that ball to come back. And one way or the other, they were playing straight and they were getting to the pocket more often than not. So, and then I thought to myself, wait a minute, okay, they had more success getting to the pocket playing straighter, and I did the same thing. And I was using the Zen Master, and I got 256. And I have the rev rate to get that ball to really hit into the pocket. So, technically, I'm at an advantage here compared to those who play straighter and have lower rev rates. Because if you think about it, now that we know that there is a more volume of oil in the front part of the lane, it's like a slip and slide for these guys, and for me too. But I have the rev rate to get that ball to come back. So, with me having that rev rate to get the ball to really curve and hit the pocket, I can get those 10s out. compared to those with the lower rev rates. Like one of the other bowlers who I made friends with in this league, her name is Gina. I don't know if you guys remember her. She was in the first week of league that we faced her team in the first week. That's how she plays the lanes, and she has a lower rev rate, and she was leaving a lot of 10 pins. And part of that reason is because, the way they laid this pattern out, it's they now have to be those with the lower rev rates who are playing straighter have to be a lot more direct to the pocket, kind of like something that Liz Johnson would do. So because if they try to play literally directly up the second arrow or something like that, then they're probably going to leave a 10 pin because, like I said, there's more oil now and the ball can't really hit into the pocket. They're going to get a lot of light hits. So that is the big takeaway here. So I think that's what I have to start doing. I have to probably get the Zen Master and maybe find a lot of my weaker stuff and just start going a lot straighter. So I think that's what we're going to do for next week. So we'll see. So that wraps it up for week number 2. And finally, I can stop talking because you guys can clearly hear my voice is sounding very hoarse, and I'm done with it. So, yeah, that's week number 2, done and dusted. And until I figure out this pattern, these are probably going to be the scores that I end up putting up. So it's going to be a struggle to get to 600. I can't believe I'm saying that. But you know what? Like I said, we needed this challenge because we're never going to get better. We're never going to learn anything unless they change it up and make it more difficult for us. So, yeah, I'm all for these changes. I know. I'm trying not to complain about it. I'm trying to actually say that, like, they were on the money with making these changes. It needed to happen. So anyway, I'm Frank the Tank. Week 2 done. On to week 3. I'll see you guys next week.